lower back pain. It's a journey that so many of us, unfortunately, will take at some point. From that first surprise twinge to trying to find some real, lasting relief. So, what we're going to do here is map out that whole journey for you, giving you a clear, step-by-step guide to really understanding and managing it. Okay, just to get a sense of how common this really is, get a load of this number. Experts say a staggering 85% of us will experience some kind of lower back pain during our lives. I mean, it's right up there, second only to the common cold for why people go see a doctor. That's huge. But, and this is a really big but, before you let that number freak you out, listen to this. As this quote from Dr. Serge Nikolic makes clear, for the vast, vast majority of people, this is a benign, self-limiting condition. What that really means is it's going to get better on its own with a bit of time and the right care. Okay, let's dive into this.
Okay, so we know pretty much everyone deals with this at some point. But what do you do? The path from that first twinge to feeling good again, well, it can feel super confusing. That's exactly the path we're going to chart today, from your very first response to knowing when you might need to bring in the pros.
All right, let's talk about what to do when that pain first hits. Now, your first instinct, it's probably to curl up and not move a muscle, right? But what physiotherapists tell us is that for most of this common back pain, gentle movement is actually your best friend. It's your first line of defense. So let's look at a few super simple, really effective exercises you can do right at home. Okay, first up, we've got the classic cat-camel. You're just on your hands and knees. When you breathe in, you let your belly drop and look up. And as you breathe out, you round your spine up towards the ceiling, tucking your chin. The really important thing here is to keep it slow, super controlled, and really try to link your breath with every single movement. And hey, here's a little pro tip to really get the most out of this one. As you move, actually imagine you're pushing your butt up towards the ceiling and then tucking it under. This little mental trick? It helps you get that beautiful, full curve through your entire spine, making sure you get the maximum benefit from the stretch. All right, next up, we're going to build on that with a really important strengthening exercise, the glute bridge. Lying on your back, you're going to squeeze your glutes and lift your hips. Now, the goal isn't just to lift your hips as high as you can. It's all about strengthening the exact muscles that are supposed to be supporting your lower back. Okay, this is absolutely key, and it's a small detail that makes a huge difference. Before you even think about lifting, you want to do a little pelvic tuck. Just think about pulling your belly button in towards your spine. This is what protects your back and makes sure it's your glutes doing the work, not your lower back straining. Okay, on to the bird dog. From that same hands and knees position, you're going to reach out with an opposite arm and leg. This one is just awesome. Why? Because it's all about building core stability. And that is absolutely essential for keeping your spine happy and supported. The trick here is to imagine your torso is a solid plank of wood. You don't want it to tilt or arch at all. And you know what's great? You don't have to be a pro to do this stuff. If the full move feels a little wobbly or too tough, just modify it. Start by just lifting an arm or just a leg. The whole point isn't to make it complicated. It's to build a solid, stable foundation, and you can do that at your own pace. So these movements are a fantastic first step. And honestly, for a lot of people, this is all it takes. But what if it's not? What if the pain just isn't going away? Or you're noticing some other weird things? When do you say, okay, time to call in a professional?
And that question brings us to a really, really important part of this whole journey, learning to spot what experts call red flags. These are specific symptoms that mean you should probably get things checked out by a professional, and soon.
Okay, you're going to want to pay close attention here. We're not talking about your typical achiness. We're talking about real, honest-to-goodness weakness in your leg, like your foot starts dragging or your leg just gives out, or numbness and pins and needles, specifically in the groin or saddle area. And the last one, any loss of bladder or bowel control. That's the big one. If that happens, you need to get medical help immediately. Now look, these things are rare, but you absolutely have to know what they are. So let's say you go see a professional, and they bring up getting an MRI scan. It sounds like the perfect solution, right? A clear picture that's going to show exactly what's wrong. But the truth about scans is actually a little more complicated than you might think. Don't get me wrong, an MRI is amazing at showing you the physical structures in your back. It'll show you a disc bulge or arthritis, that kind of wear and tear stuff. But here's the kicker. Here's what it can't do. It can't tell you why you're in pain. This is fascinating. Scientists have done scans on people with zero back pain at all,
and found all sorts of disc bulges and other things. So the picture doesn't always tell the whole story of your experience.
And this quote really just hits the nail on the head. A scan is just a tool. It's one piece of a much bigger puzzle. A great doctor is going to take that scan, listen to your story, see how you're moving, and put it all together. Because at the end of the day, they're treating you, the person, not just a black and white picture. So let's move on to our final section. What happens when the pain is so bad that you can't even do the exercises that are supposed to make you feel better? It feels like a catch-22, right? Well, this is where some more advanced options can come in to help break that nasty pain cycle. Okay, so one of the tools in the toolbox is a targeted spinal injection, but it's so important to understand what these are for. This is not a magic bullet that's going to fix the problem forever. Think of it more like a strategic tool. Its job is to deliver a really powerful anti-inflammatory right to the spot that's all fired up, and hopefully just calm everything down and break that cycle of pain. Yeah, the best way to think about it is like this. The injection's job is to open up a window of opportunity. Once the pain is dialed down, that's when you can finally get back to the physical therapy and strengthening exercises that are going to give you that real, long-term relief. It's basically a bridge to get you back on the road to recovery. You know, everyone's journey with back pain is going to be a little different. It's personal. But the most important thing to take away from all this is that recovery is possible, and there is a logical path forward. You start with gentle movement, you learn to spot the signs that you need help, and you understand the tools that are out there to help you break the pain cycle. So the only real question left is, what's your next step?